Short video. Let's analyze and summarize M's and Nia's plan, her undercover rebellion against Mobius. Things weren't that simple. It wasn't just luck. It took over a millennia to see the results. Let's start from the latest parts. The capture of the reincarnations, the embodiment of hope. She has spent over a millennia alongside N, shares some memories, so she knows him very well. She volunteered to fight Ouroboros, and was surprised by this, but he knew she was kind of a pacifist. She chose her words carefully. I want to show them, make them realize just how powerless they truly are, just as we were once persuaded. She was manipulating N to decide to make a point, rather than killing instantly, putting that idea in his head, and he already wanted to humiliate his past self. He had a point to make, to him, his other self, and the world, that he made the right choice, facing reality just as they did, recalling his weaker selves. So N went on to torture his naive past reflection. M knows his self-hatred for failing to protect her is strong. His actual hatred for Mobius, his deep but undeniable repentance that for both Noah and N, Mio/M was everything. Just after saying this and coming up to start the fight, she switches bodies with Mio, informing her of the past, incarnations, Mobius, and the limited info she had of the city's destruction, as N hid some details in the plan. N later saw or remembered his past by seeing Noah protecting a weakened Mio, who was actually M. Did she receive that attack on purpose? She wanted to end because she didn't want nor like being Mobius. Plus, the control set us over them in this state, unlike Ouroboros, out of the flow, but also in order to bring N to his senses, to redeem him, make him realize what she truly wants, or at least demoralize him. His literal feelings and resonant with the Logos sword and origin make him strong, so to nerf him. That was still part of the original plan. Switching bodies was a decision she made to help the reincarnation of Mio to live longer, as Mio and Noah were how they were meant to be, to help them escape the never-ending curse. However, maybe the original plan was somehow different in execution, but after Shania informed Mobius about the Liegarte prison escape and Ouroboros' location, quickly adapt her plan to somehow make N forgive Ouroboros, or give them more time, not to kill them in the spot, as he well could have done, resorting into influencing N through his trauma, while also, along with Mio, prevent the current Noah fall into despair and wishing for time to stop. And how did she do it? Well, giving her Mobius powers and body to Mio, so she could enter his consciousness and speak along and through the hooded kid, the fragment of N that lurked within Noah, and share the memories and information M had, so they could break this never-ending curse. Earlier in the game, during a Mobius O, P, and X interaction, it is discussed that M hasn't shown up recently, only at the beginning of Chapter 2. We know from a flashback she met with Gondor, Brad Gondor, about 2 months before Mio's homecoming, or maybe even before, hard to tell, and before the party fights K, as the rocks that Colony 4 destroyed are intact. She passed on the Cloud Keep key as instructed by Nia when the time comes, and the world is ready for a change. The coming of Ouroboros and their true selves reincarnation that Nia foresaw. The embodiment of hope. Also, weird thing. The decision to make the current Mio an officer came out of the blue, from the high ranks, despite Mio being on top in all training categories. So it's very likely that M, who created the homecoming, was behind that. Returning to Gondor, why her? Maybe, aside from having her son's name, she was closely monitoring her long line of descendants, some kind of guardian angel. We know N hunted down the Vandams, according to Monica's lines, but they survived and even returned to the city, Matthew descended, as he went in a long journey. Considering that M knew where the city was, maybe she either guided them or watched over them in their journey. Speaking of knowing where it was, after warning the city to flee, so she knew they could move it, the rescue brigade didn't come until after the annihilation event and N and X left. As Monica said, the castle was heavily guarded. They had to let their guard down first. Good timing. Or was it planned? Speaking of Nia, their encounter must be after M was resurrected, hence after the destruction of the city, explaining why she was about to end herself. Riku, in Future Redeem, states that Nia went into hiding, so that encounter could be a little bit prior to Future Redeem or at the same time. Ideal as Seth was busy watching over the N and Alpha conflict. Nia teased that they would certainly meet their true selves. She knew something we still don't know. Worth mentioning, the Cloud Keep seems to be something either built in early Ionios or even in Allrest itself, as it's similar but different from Agnus. It has an ether furnace-like central computer thingy that relayed info of Ionios to Nia. It stores Poppy, maybe part of the mechanism, and it looks Thora made. So, as said, made in Allrest, unless Thora survived the intersection but still died early on. We could see an expanded and inhabited Cloud Keep in the future. It also has a stasis pod made for Nia. So, it was planned or a backup option? Interestingly, the Cloud Keep key vibrated when Noah's Lucky 7 was closed. So, is the key made of origin metal too? Could it be a Xenoblade 2 party member? The loyal Dromar, keeping the Cloud Kit safe? Nia also spoke to her about meeting before, when she was still human, and recognizes her as Her Majesty, her queen. So it's referring to an Ionios meeting, not an Allrest one, even though M knew that Agnus and Keves were fake. That alongside the Urbora stones and the mission entrusted to them by the Queen, must mean Nia was heavily involved in the early stages of the war against Mobius, probably meeting N and M face to face. Important to mention, I believe the localization here might have some issues, even though you and your friends should have never existed. In Japanese, the plural is there, but I believe she means just Mio and Noah. Splitting from your other self, why do you exist? The fact you are here is proof enough, etc. You get what I mean. After meeting Nia, by step, he started plotting against Mobius. Along with Chris, who overheard some clues for his suspicions, he created, or rather reformed, the concept of the homecoming. As before that, the term homecoming or going home was used for the executions, probably during Glimmer's time too. Consuls were desperate for the life energy to continue on circulation. Soldiers needed to die on battle, by blades, or executed. As mentioned before in other bits and the Ionios moments, golden motes are still stored in Origin, but outside of Mobius' understanding and control. M, the Silver Consul, head of the Agnian consuls in a Kevesi colony, somehow convinced B and the others to let them be sent off through music. How? We have some ideas. First, just like the city, set like the architect from the Matrix, allowed some small scapegoats, as not everyone embraces the endless now. So they could have the dissidents, or according to Y, the city ruffians, in one place, preventing a grand-scale burst by allowing smaller revolutions inside the flow. Secondly, maybe supporting the previous idea, more and more soldiers were starting to fear the execution homecoming, as shown in Ashira's ascension quest. Some memories were not being entirely wiped out. Bugs in the system, starting to remember being executed, even remembering and feeling specific wounds. So Z, allowing this, along with X culture managing role, permitted or boost this new send-off homecoming concept as the new goal for soldiers of Ionios. We are getting kinda into the culture topic, but that's for an upcoming video. To summarize, step by step, M reborn after the city destruction. Sad, met the queen, receiving the key to reawake her when the time is right. The coming of the reincarnations and liberation of the colonies. The revolution must start from within. Like Mayneth's plan, Nia goes into stasis until the right moment to fight their enemy, entrusting the rest to an agent, like Millennia, in close contact with one of the game's antagonists, Egil, helping the next generation with a kid with a monado and similar to one or more of the game's antagonists fight for the future. After that, M started to make changes to the Ionios culture, to free some soldiers and weaken Mobius, along with allowing some thoughts and feelings towards ending beyond patriotism, like sadness or curiosity, as seen in future Chris or Noah, and maybe even the decision of Mio becoming an Overseer. After that, witnessing the time had come, knew Noah and Mio, entrusting the key to one of her descendants from the city. Maybe she was a guardian angel for the city as she knew the place and lineage, as she was being more closely monitored. She wasn't seen then until the end of chapter 4. Later on, she probably got her plans screwed up by Shania's betrayal, forcing her to rush them, saving the rat out Ouroboros by guiding N to capture them. But her life ending was still part of the original plan, to demoralize or redeem N, along with helping with the term mark issue of the reincarnated Mio, her ideal self, a clean slot not shrouded in regret. Plus, she was the reason why Noah stepped back from wishing the endless now again. She confronted Ouroboros but switched bodies with Mio, informing her about the plan. Mio, with M's memories, then guided the team to Hope's Rest for some lore, and then to the Cloud Keep, where the key that resonated with Noah's blade for some reason, origin metal, past party member, needed to be used. That restricted her Mobius admin privileges though. I think M in general is pretty underrated.
Eyes over here!
Her impact in the plot and character's development in hindsight was bigger than most people remember, probably due to her screen time. But for me personally, Xenoblade 3's Mio is both Ouroboros and Mobius Mio. They are parts of a whole. As said, millennia-long plan she had to endure. Quite risky, but I insist, she knew N very well, putting some salt on the wound. Plus, collaborating with her reincarnation paid off. It wasn't as careless of a plan as some say. Actually, the usual type of risk protagonists take in this series. Anyways, that would be for today. Have a good one.